Hey guys, and welcome back to the Deliverance Podcast. It's been a while since we uploaded one of these episodes. That is a brand new episode with new content, but today is the day for that. So we want to welcome you and thank you for staying tuned and watching and continuing to support the work that we do here at the Deliverance Podcast. I want to announce before we go into the short little encouragement that I want to share with you today. Our next digital deliverance event is gonna be on January 15th. Saturday, January 15th. So if you have signed up for a digital deliverance, you will receive an email soon with all the dates and everything that you need to know prior to the deliverance event. January 15th is the date. If you have signed up recently, we have about 1,200 people that have signed up. If you have signed up and you don't receive an email, be patient. You will be next in line, so be patient. And if you are watching and you want to sign up, go to hungrygen.com/digital deliverance to sign up for your digital deliverance today. Without further ado, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe this video if it's for you or if it's for someone you know. It might be good for them to hear this. Let's jump straight into today's short little encouragement. Okay guys, and I'm gonna go straight into it. This is something that I actually shared on a live stream at the Hungry Generation Wednesday live service last couple of weeks ago. I think it was last week actually. And it's just a really quick encouragement because I've seen so many people who are worried because they begin to realize that they actually need deliverance. So they begin to worry and they begin to feel guilty and they begin to feel ashamed. And I want to give you an example in the Bible of someone who had a demonic encounter and then needed to be rescued from that situation, even as a minister. So if you can come with me right now to the book of Acts. And we're gonna talk about Apostle Paul actually. It's from the book of Acts chapter 16. It's not gonna be long. This is just a really quick encouragement to those who realize that you might need deliverance and you are ashamed or you're worried or you're embarrassed or you're scared because you need deliverance. And like, oh no, I'm such a bad person. And you fall for the trick of the devil that is to guilt trip you and cause you to feel ashamed or bad for the fact that you need deliverance. Look at this. This is Apostle Paul. I'm going to take you through this really quick from the book of Acts chapter 16. Verse 16. Now it happened as we went to prayer that a certain slave girl possessed with a spirit of divination met us, who brought her masters much profit by fortune telling. This girl followed Paul and us and cried out, saying, "These men are the servants of the Most High God, who proclaim to us the way of salvation." And this she did for many days, but Paul, greatly annoyed, turned and said to the spirit, "I command you in the name of Jesus Christ to come out of her." Apostle Paul here was doing the ministry of God, casting out an evil spirit. And what happened after that? If you read on in chapter 16, you find out that because of that, he was put in prison. He had a demonic encounter and he was put in prison. Now, he wasn't possessed by that demon that he cast out, but nonetheless, he had a demonic encounter and there were immediate consequences after that. He was put in a prison cell. And maybe today you feel like you're in a prison cell and you had some kind of demonic encounter. Maybe you're in ministry and you're like, oh my God, I was just doing ministry and now I feel attacked by these demons. I feel imprisoned by demonic forces. What should I do? How could I have done it differently? Why did this happen to me? I'm such a bad person. I don't deserve Jesus. And the thing is, nobody deserves Jesus. Nobody deserves deliverance. We minister deliverance and we don't charge anything for it. Because we receive it freely, we give it freely as well. And I believe that is really important to understand, that even though deliverance is ministered freely, the power of deliverance is not free and it's not cheap. Deliverance, the power of deliverance, the power to heal, the power to set the captives free, was paid for with the life of the Son of God, Jesus Christ. He paid with his blood on the cross of Calvary. So your deliverance isn't free. Your deliverance isn't cheap. It's just that you don't need to pay for it. It's not that it's free. It's just that someone else paid the price. So it's important for us to understand that deliverance isn't something cheap or free or something that you can freely get. I have this saying, and I shared it when I was in Brazil in the mission trip in one of my sermons there, that deliverance isn't like bananas in the market, that you can get it at any time. Just go to the market, there's always bananas there. Deliverance isn't bananas in the market. Deliverance was paid for. Jesus Christ died for your deliverance. Appreciate and value it when you receive it. Just because you didn't pay for it doesn't mean that it's free. Just because you didn't pay for it doesn't mean that it's cheap. So it's time for us to put the actual value. When Jesus Christ does something for us, it's time for us to put the actual value. He died for you to be able to receive that. So don't take it for granted when you receive something from Jesus. It's not cheap and it's not free. Nonetheless, a little side note there. Nonetheless, Apostle Paul was put in prison because of a demonic encounter. Now, I'm angling this in a way that he had an encounter with a demon, and the repercussion of that was that he was put in prison. And that's the truth. Yes, it was through men, but many times, you have a demonic encounter, something happens, and then suddenly you lose your job later. It's not the demon that makes you lose your job. Like the demon comes and whispers and they say, well, a demon told me that I should fire you. No, it can be explained naturally where you'll be like, oh, it's coincidence. And that's how demons operate. When you say like, oh, it's just bad luck, it's coincidence, it's this. These are the ways and the modes in which demons operate in your life. So you have to understand that when things keep repeatedly bad luck or repeatedly being coincidence, like, oh, really again? This is such a coincidence. Why is this happening again? Maybe demons are operating. They don't want to be seen. They don't want to be heard. They don't want to be noticed in your life. That's how they operate. The moment that they are exposed and they know that you know that they're there, that's when they begin to make noise. So what happened to Apostle Paul here? And this is the thing. He was put in a prison due to just doing the work of God. And he might have been asking, why? Why I was doing the work of God and then demons started attacking me. I want to go quickly to the book of Acts chapter 26 and 28 and I'm going to end it with this. Because I think there are many people who ask, why? Why do I need deliverance? I'm pretty good Christian. Why do I need deliverance? I know I need it, but why? It's not fair. Look at that guy. That guy has cheated 2-3 times. Look at that person. That person has even been in prison. He doesn't seem like he needs deliverance. I never did those things, yet I need deliverance. Why? It's not fair. Or another example is people who have spirit of rejection and sometimes spirit of lust, spirit of hatred. And one interesting thing with spirit of hatred, guys, spirit of hatred is a real demon. And when you talk about spirit of hatred does not make, let's say that I have a spirit of hatred, that doesn't mean I hate people. That's not what spirit of hatred does necessarily. The main objective of spirit of hatred is to make people hate you. For no reason, it's very hard for people to like you. It's very hard for people to love you. And it can be because of like things you say and do, but you don't understand that there's a spirit that makes it hard for people to love you and care for you. And that is spirit of hatred. It makes people to hate you. And you'll be like, well, if I change, that's probably gonna change. I'm a really bad person and have bad attitude and stuff like that. Yeah, to some degree. But then it goes over where it's not even because of your bad attitudes. It's literally because the spirit of hatred has put a mark on you that makes it hard for people. It's like kind of like you have skunk. A skunk has sprayed you and you're walking around. And everyone that goes close to you, they're like, oh, this guy smells. But spiritually, so people don't even recognize it because we are not spiritually aware that, oh, why do I why do I not like this guy so bad? Like, this guy annoys me so much. And then the guy annoys everyone. And it's not necessarily because the person has such bad habits. It can be a spiritual mark of hatred on that person. It makes it hard for people to accept the person or love the person or care for the person. So that's another side track. So many times when people have a spirit of hatred, spirit of rejection, spirit of lust and stuff, it's because they were molested when they were kids. And how is that fair? Someone has been through or exposed to something. You've been molested, you have been exposed to sexual wrongdoing, sexual misconduct. You know, there are so many things that happens to young kids nowadays that is totally wrong. Totally wrong. It's illegal, first of all, but spiritually it's even worse. And that can be a gateway for demonic forces to enter. And when you think about it, like, how is that fair? First of all, you're a victim. You're not the perpetrator. Why don't the demons attack the perpetrators? Why is it the victim that gets the worst part of it? Like the demons enter the victim. Why? It's not fair. But demons aren't fair. It's not fair. But that's the reason why you shouldn't be ashamed, because it's not even necessarily something that you have done. It's things that happen to you, and that's why you need those things to be broken spiritually, and that's why we advocate for deliverance. So don't worry, stop being ashamed, stop feeling guilty or like, oh no, what are they gonna find out if I go for deliverance? I'm such a bad person. Forget about all that. Listen to this. Acts chapter 28, Apostle Paul, he went shipwrecked, and they arrived on the island of Malta, and I love this. Acts of the Apostles chapter 28 verse 1. I'm going to read a couple of verses here. Now when they had escaped, they had found out that the island was called Malta, and the natives showed us unusual kindness, for they kindled a fire and made us all welcome because of the rain that was falling and because of the cold. But when Paul had gathered a bundle of sticks and laid them on the fire, a viper came out because of the heat and fastened on his hand. Listen to this. A viper came out and fastened on his hand. Viper in this case, it's very easy to liken it to demonic attacks. Demonic attacks come, demons try to oppress you, afflict you, possess you, destroy you, steal, kill and destroy your joy, your love, your hope, your light, everything good in your life. Demons want to take it, destroy it, make it for nothing. Why? Why did the snake bite Apostle Paul's hand? Did he bite Apostle Paul's hand because Apostle Paul forgot to pray today? Or because Apostle Paul was a sinner? Or because Apostle Paul didn't pay tithe? Because Apostle Paul hadn't prayed enough? Because he hadn't read the Bible enough? No. Because he watched the wrong thing yesterday on TV? No. No. Those things may open doors. Some of those things, like watching porn, for example. I'm not talking about those kind of things. But when you continuously look and reflect inwards, when you're going for deliverance, you're like, oh, what have I done wrong? Like, yeah, I'm not saying that the reflection part is not good and not important, but don't let it limit you. Don't let it stop you because you're so worried about your dirty old past, okay? There are dirtier people who don't have demons, okay? So listen to this. The snake bit Apostle Paul in the hand, not because Apostle Paul was a bad person, but because that's what snakes do. The snake bit him because that's what snakes do. Snakes bite. Demons attack you not because you're a bad person. Demons have attacked you, afflicted you, oppressed you, possessed you, not because you're a bad person only. There are bad people who get demons because they're bad, and then there are good people who get demons and they're not bad. So stop focusing on that and thinking, oh my God, it's so bad. Demons attack because that's what demons do. The snake bit him. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. The snake came out and bit him in the hand. Not because of Apostle Paul, but because that's what snakes do. I hope you understand this is an encouragement for you. If you know that you're struggling with demonic forces in your life, if you're oppressed, afflicted, possessed, whatever level that you experience the demonic attacks in your life, don't focus. Don't let it stop you because you're worried or you're ashamed, guilty, shy, embarrassed. No. If someone is bitten by a snake and they go to the hospital, they are not going to say like, oh no, don't take me to the hospital. They'll find out that I was bitten by a snake. I was bitten by a snake. They'll find out. Yeah, they'll find out. And then you'll be okay. That's the good part. That you were bitten by a snake doesn't mean that you are a snake. Okay? That you were attacked by a demon doesn't mean that you are a demon. That you have a spirit of lust in your life doesn't mean that you are, the devil. That you are struggling with these issues in your life shouldn't stop you from seeking help. Now, in the case of Apostle Paul, it's good if you read the story. He shook it off into the fire, and I think that's what is happening in our day and generation. The fire of our faith is growing so hot that the snakes in our bushes has to be exposed. But I'm going to talk about that on our live stream on this coming Saturday. For now, this is a word of encouragement for you. Snakes bite because that's what snakes do. Okay? Not for any other reason. So please, don't let whatever thing your mind is telling you that is hindering you from seeking deliverance, please, don't let that hinder you from receiving what God has in store for you. He thought it was so important for you to receive deliverance, healing, and salvation more than anything, but deliverance and healing too. That Jesus Christ paid with his life for you to receive it. Imagine that, people of God. That's how important it is to Jesus. Don't focus on your past, and don't let the past shame or guilt hinder you from embracing Jesus. And when you get bitten by a snake, go find help. Nobody's gonna say, oh, they will find out I was bitten by a snake. Yeah, so what? We know that's what snakes do. We're not surprised like, oh man, you must be a bad person for being bitten by a snake. Why didn't you pay more attention? Why didn't you, there are many questions you can say, like, oh, why were you where snakes are? Well, sometimes snakes find their way where they're not supposed to be, okay? So don't let any of those arguments stop you from seeking help. And one of the ways that you can get help, if you don't have a living church in your geographical vicinity that ministers deliverance on a regular basis, you can get deliverance right on this channel online. Go to hungrygen.com/digital deliverance and sign up today. That's it for today's episode, guys. I hope this helped someone. God bless you. We will have a live broadcast this Saturday where I'll be talking in depth about this. Also, remember, January 15th is our next digital deliverance event. We love you. We're praying for you. God bless you. Share this with someone who needs to hear this. An encouragement not to be ashamed. We don't even know for sure if it was a poisonous snake. Some snakes bite, but they don't leave any poison in your system. Imagine that. So don't be scared to seek help. God bless you, and see you soon again. Jesus loves you.